Once the poster pair of elegance and espresso, George and Amal Clooney were basically the human version of a Vogue spread. Him with that salt and pepper swagger, her gliding through global crises in heels sharper than his jawline. But flash forward to 2025, and it looks like Amal's suitcase might be packed with more than power suits, maybe some divorce papers, and a one-way ticket to sanity. Rumor has it, they're now living separate lives in different time zones, which, let's be real, is just marriage with frequent flyer miles. Their fairy tale is starting to read more like courtroom drama meets Broadway tragedy, and somewhere in Lake Como, even the wine is whispering, "Not again." A love story now in legal jeopardy. Let's set the scene. It's 2014, George Clooney, Hollywood's suavest bachelor, marries Amal, a legal powerhouse with more degrees than George has espresso machines, and somehow, no prenup is signed. It's the kind of romantic gamble that makes lawyers everywhere break into a cold sweat. At the time, George was sitting on a $500 million fortune, including Italian villas so luxurious they probably have their own zip codes, a car collection that would make Jay Leno blush, and of course, Casamigos, the tequila brand that turned hangovers into high fashion. Amal, meanwhile, was already cashing in courtroom victories and not coupons. So now, if things go south, it won't just be a broken heart on the line. It'll be enough assets to fund a small European country. Basically, this could be the kind of divorce that makes even Bezos go, yikes. Separate lives, separate continents. So what's behind the alleged rift? Geography, mostly. George is busy strutting across the Broadway stage in good night and good luck, trying to make the leap from Hollywood to Hamilton. Amal, meanwhile, is globetrotting as a powerhouse attorney working with the International Criminal Court. These two could probably send postcards to each other and still not be caught up. Sources claim the strain of a long-distance lifestyle is catching up with them. Amal reportedly wanted to stay in Europe with their 7-year-old twins, while George persuaded her to move with him to New York. Guess who might now be regretting that decision? She didn't even show up to his Broadway debut. In the world of celebrity marriage optics, that's basically the equivalent of unfollowing your spouse on Instagram. Politics, lawsuits, and one tequila too many. Just when you thought things couldn't get more chaotic, enter Donald Trump. Apparently, Amal's outspoken support for Palestinian human rights has made her a target of potential U.S. immigration restrictions under Trump's latest foreign policy fury. There are whispers, loud rants online, that she might even be barred from re-entering the United States, which would leave George playing Broadway solo and parenting by Zoom. Oh, and George is also facing a class action lawsuit related to his tequila brand, which critics claim might not be as premium as the label suggests. So, to recap, his marriage is crumbling, his booze is being sued, and the ex-president might be trying to deport his wife. If this were a sitcom, it would be called Clooney Calamity and air every Thursday at 8. Trouble in Paradise. Let's not forget the romantic speeches of yesteryear. George once gushed, "I couldn't sleep when we were apart," while Amal swooned, "His smile melts me every time." Cut to today, and the sentiment is more like, "Please stay in New York as long as you want, I'll be in Europe." It's heartbreaking, also wildly ironic. George once claimed, "We've never had an argument," which, sure, if you don't spend any time in the same zip code, you probably won't argue. That's not marital bliss, George. That's strategic silence. Still, he told CBS Mornings that he feels like the luckiest man in the world. But if Amal's packing her bags for Europe and skipping his big night, maybe he should start feeling lucky if she still leaves him the espresso machine. A career collision. While George pursues standing ovations on Broadway, Amal continues to battle actual war criminals. You can see how their worlds might not align neatly. She's not a fan of the Hollywood scene, reportedly never felt she fit in, and George, let's be honest, seems allergic to retiring. Amal hoped he'd scale back after becoming a dad, but instead, he's hanging out with Brad Pitt. Amal, it seems, wasn't thrilled about George teaming up with Brad again. A source said she secretly celebrated when the sequel seemed off the table, only to be disappointed when it was resurrected like a cinematic zombie. "They're not even friends anymore," she allegedly said. "It's all for show." And show business, as it turns out, may be what's breaking the Clooneys apart. Is there a third or fourth party involved? Now here's where things take a sharp left turn into Hollywood rumor territory. Brace yourself. Some seriously eyebrow-raising whispers have emerged linking George to none other than Harry Styles. Yes, that Harry Styles. TikTok, blind items, and gossip rags are buzzing with claims that the two have been on again, off again, for years. Clooney and Styles, the most unexpected plot twist since cats learned to play instruments. These rumors stretch back to 2020 and even include references to Clooney's friendship with Cindy Crawford's husband, Randy Gerber. As for Amal, she's allegedly been seeing someone else, someone paid for by a Middle Eastern royal, according to one blind item. No word on whether that includes a palace stay and complimentary falafel. To be clear, these are rumors, but in the world of Hollywood, where PR firms practically run triathlons to keep up with scandal, even whispers can do damage. Who gets what? Let's talk about the prenup that never was a bold, some might say Oscar-worthy, oversight by a man who once played Batman, but clearly forgot about protecting his own fortress. If this split goes through, George could wave goodbye to his majestic Italian villa, Ciao, Lake Como, his collector's dream garage, his beloved tequila empire, and possibly even his sanity. Casamigos might become Casa Amal real quick. And let's not forget his dignity, which is currently dangling by a thread more delicate than Amal's courtroom cross-examinations. Sure, she doesn't need the money, she's already lawyering her way through international crises, but it's not about cash, it's about principle. I mean, a human rights attorney walking out of a prenupless marriage? That's not just ironic, that's Shakespearean-level poetic justice. The kids are, hopefully, all right. Amid all the marital mayhem, George and Amal's adorable twins remain their #1 priority, or at least that's what their very well-paid team of nannies would tell you. With George belting monologues on Broadway and Amal flying across time zones to tackle global injustice, co-parenting has turned into a high-stakes game of tag where the nanny is always it. George insists that fatherhood brings him joy, which sounds lovely until you realize he's probably referring to the FaceTime app. Meanwhile, Amal's out here trying to prosecute war criminals, keep up with spelling homework, and diplomatically ignore that her husband still thinks he's the next Hugh Jackman. Parenting in the Clooney household isn't just a full-time job, it's a multinational operation. Honestly, the twins might be the most grounded people in the family. If they grow up to lead the United Nations, we won't be surprised. Clooney's cliffhanger. What happens next? Despite George's calm on-camera charm and Amal's always poised poker face, insiders whisper that the couple's castle may be crumbling behind the velvet curtains. Amal allegedly told George to stay in New York as long as he likes, which in marriage speak sounds a lot like, don't let the Broadway door hit you on the way out. So now we're all watching like it's the season finale of Keeping Up with the Clooneys. Will they finally split or patch things up with another handwritten love note and an espresso in Como? Will the Harry Styles rumor swirl into a full-blown gossip hurricane? Will Brad Pitt make a surprise cameo and crash the emotional plotline like it's Ocean's 14? And for the love of George's tequila empire, Will someone please invent a time machine and convince them to sign a prenup in 2014? Because if this marriage does implode, it'll be the most high-budget heartbreak since Jeff Bezos decided romance wasn't tax deductible. Until then, we're left with speculation, stylists on standby, and Amal may be booking a solo flight to sanity. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Clooney chaos, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates on your favorite celebrity stories. Tap the bell icon so you never miss a moment of the drama. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts on George and Amal's next chapter.